All right.
You got kombucha there?
Yeah.
And you have regular coffee.
I got decaf. I'm off caffeine.
I just have Maker's Mark in a mug.
Oh. All right. You want to get it going? We'll get it.
Dude, this has the ability to go so many places.
Oh, it's going to be
Let it
fun,
go.
man. I can't wait.
Let it fly.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sea Otter Town Hall. The podcast is out every Wednesday. As always, I'm Dylan Krasinski. Rate, review, subscribe. You guys know the deal. With me, as always, is my good friend and uncomparable host of the pod, Mike T. Kerrigan, everybody. Give it up for him.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. With the enthusiasm right off the top,
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And, hey, we're real excited today. We have a great guest. Super happy to have him here. I mean, came in with hot energy. And, you know, I know that this is going to be a good time. It's going to be a hot pod, going to be a fun pod, and you guys are in for a treat. Guys, welcome our good friend and soon to be yours, Mr. Dan Lamorte.
Woo, can't wait to do this. Sea Otter.
Yeah.
Listen, hey,
The wet gaze.
there you go. The what?
Wet gaze.
Wet
That's what I
gaze?
think, because an otter's a gay thing.
Is it?
And then a gay in the sea, so a wet gay.
I think he's calling you gay.
Well, now we definitely got to change the name, dude. People are like, oh, we're
They're
doing.
like, why did the number spike in Pride Month?
They actually did.
They saw no otters.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, I'd never even thought of that.
Yeah, I never heard that before.
Wet gaze. Okay. Hey, we're getting slippery and wet, baby. right in the or do otters live in the ocean? I don't even know. We did
Yeah.
very little research about otters before
I know.
naming the podcast.
I know a little bit about otters. Yeah, they're ocean dwellers.
Are they? I thought they were river dwellers.
I think I'm wrong. Actually, I think
Yeah,
they
you
are.
are.
Fresh. They could be. I think they're fresh. I think there are saltwater ones, but I think they are freshwater too.
A lot of the pod is Mike saying things, and any pushback, you will immediately back down.
No, well, because I think they were. That's what Loch Ness monster usually was otters, and that's freshwater.
The Loch Ness Monster was an otter?
Yeah, like a lot of those pictures when they see it, it's like just a zoomed in on an otter, and it's like all those like things like aliens. Like I'm at this point like aliens, Bigfoot. I want to see a good view. I'm sick of these like blurry. They're like, did you see that? I'm like, no, I didn't.
it.
It's a blur. That's all it was.
You and everybody else.
Yeah,
I'm tired of
I've
it.
had it.
Do you believe? Do you believe? Are you a believer in aliens and other mythical creatures?
I used to think my childhood bedroom was haunted.
Really?
So much so that I moved out of it. And when I'm back at my parents', as if I didn't move back 5 weeks ago, still don't live in that room.
Out of fear?
Out of fear that it's haunted.
Hey,
and also,
listen.
it's a guest room now, so it's not for me.
Sometimes that energy, if there's bad energy, it doesn't have to be a haunting. It could just be the energy there. And you're like, I got to get out. I got to stay out.
It was something it was like one of those rooms where like I woke up, there was like a situation and it was just very cold and I felt like someone breathing over me and my dog was like on the edge of the bed, panicked. And then I looked up to see what was there and the cord from the wall, from the fan, flew out of the wall. And then I moved out of the room. I was like, that was enough for me.
Well, that's kind of wild. That's not like a total nothing.
That's
No, it wasn't a total nothing. And then I did this. I went into that room like 8 years later as an adult, and I'm shit you not, the same exact thing happened. Cord flew out of the wall, cold air. So I was like, this room, something ain't right.
Wow. That's...
Yeah, I mean, I killed someone in that room like earlier, but that's I can't believe it's haunted still.
Coincidence, right?
It's just coincidence.
You grew up in New Jersey, right?
I did. The classic trash projection, which was Brooklyn to Staten Island Brooklyn to upstate New York to Staten Island to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it's just, that's the full circle.
Absolutely.
I only asked that too because I've been watching The Sopranos. And I know that my behavior changed. I'm watching it too much because I'm starting to think differently. Like, people owe me money. I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm just going to start collecting like Tony's collecting. Why can't we just do that?
My road rage during Sopranos viewing goes through the roof. Like, I'm not even doing a bit here, like how you just said that. There was a guy riding my ass on the Parkway in New Jersey. We get onto Route 9, which is like more of a stop and go section. We come to a light, and he pulls up next to me, rolls down his window. He's got a fedora on, big, chain hanging from the window. And I just look at him and I'm like, do you really want today to be the day that you die? And he said, what? I was like, I do not like how you're driving behind me and I will kill you. And obviously no intention of doing that, but I had just watched so much Sopranos that I was like, this is what Tony would do.
That's the thing. I would never get into a fight. I'm like I'm such a pussy in that sense. Like, I'm not going to fight someone, mostly because I'm terrified of being arrested for it, or getting my ass. That's my
That's
first
such
thing.
a plausible reason to not fight. Not that you're scared to get hit. You're like, I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah. Like, I told Mike this the other day. Is there anything worse than like children, how mean they are? Like, have you ever seen like a young, like a 14-year-old kid on the subway? Dude, I was getting off the subway the other night. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And there's this like 14-year-old kid, a group of them, right? They're like kind of jumping around the subway car. They're jumping like seat to seat. They're swinging from like the bars. And I saw them through the middle and I was like, thank God I'm not in that train car. But I get out and then I walk past and this kid is like 14 years old and he's standing in the doorway and he like just looks, he's like staring at me, watching me walk by. And I have my backpack on. So it's kind of pulling my shirt a little tight. And there's something about kids where they immediately get to your most deep insecurity.
Your tits.
He literally looked at me and he goes, hey, man, you got to take care of those titties.
Good for him.
Not even get rid of them. Just take care of them.
Dude, I had to laugh because otherwise I would have just cried the whole way home. I was like, that is so fucking cutting.
Yeah, he got you.
Ripped me apart, man. And then I thought about it, like, what are you going to fight a kid? Best
No,
case scenario, you win.
How big was he?
Oh, he's small. He was like you.
No, then you can't. If he's 6'3", you know, like these kids, I'm like, dude, you're 6'3", 250.
Yeah.
I think at that point, if they physically get you, you can
Officer,
fight a
I
kid.
had no idea he was a child. I didn't ask for ID before I whooped him.
Yeah.
But then they're going to suck you on the news and they're going to show his like kindergarten picture. They're like, yeah, and they show a picture of you like drunk with a prostitute.
Him
like,
holding a Crayola.
Yeah, this is the guy he beat the hell out of.
Oh, dude, it was. I thought about it the whole way home, and then literally like a minute later, I'm walking by. I've never had trouble with people at night, and I'm walking through my neighborhood, walking to my door, and I walk. There's like 4 guys hanging out on like the stoop. Right, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I have to like walk through them. You know, I have to like walk through the group.
What's your entrance sentence? I always have like something ready.
Well, they're like separated. So it's like 2 guys on the stoop and 2 guys kind of like standing. So it's a natural kind of gap. But a lot of people like walk down with their head down and like just walk through because they're like scared or something. But I always like and I'm like, hey, like we're neighbors, dude, you know? They didn't see it the same way. I kind of like look at this guy. I was like, all right, like, hey, I'm walking through. Thank you. And he literally looks at me and he goes, yo, you gonna give me money? Because you keep staring at me. And I was just like, all right, what the fuck, dude?
You should have gave him money.
I just literally kept walking. And I was like, this guy's gonna probably jump me.
And this was your neighbor.
Yeah, he lives up the street, I guess. I've never seen him before. But
Yeah, I guess coming home late and the people in front of the door, it could be the kids or older people. You never want one object in the way.
it was a lot. It was back to back. I've never had trouble, and it was just back to back.
My girlfriend lost her keys to her apartment recently. So, like, for the past week, we've just been having to, like, when we get home late at night, just buzz everything and be like, hey, late night delivery, and just hope that someone lets us
Oh,
in.
man.
And horrible.
So horrible because it's the fear of, like, no one's going to. We're just becoming friends with everyone in the building now. Just like, hey, add us on Instagram in case we get back. But now we have keys.
Jesus. So. Yeah, dude, have fun.
I'm saying we as if I live here. I'm very much the mooching boyfriend right now.
I can tell, dude.
Wait, where's this apartment you live at or stay at?
Brooklyn.
What part?
I don't want to give. I don't
Okay.
know. I actually don't even know. Flatbush, I assume.
Flatbush.
I'm not familiar with Brooklyn.
Yeah, I used to live in Bed-Stuy. We had stoop guys. So they didn't live in the building, but they were from the neighborhood from way back. And it was one of my hobbies to watch like these like young, rich white girls go in. And sometimes the stoop guy, like one of them or two of them, would be dead passed out like against the whole thing. And they'd always like, they'd apologize on every step. They'd be like, sorry. I'm like, they don't even live here. But I lived downstairs, so I didn't have to deal with them. And eventually, me and the stoop guys became friends. There was a little tension for a while.
Didn't you say there were stoop guys cooking crack on the stoop?
That was in Bushwick when I lived down the street from here.
That was stoop
Oh, really?
entrepreneur,
yeah,
not
but
just
we
guy.
had
that's
it was
stoop
an
businessman.
in-cove stoop thing. And I got to say about these, they were cooking crack because they had the, like the Brillo pad stuff and some baking powder. Most polite guys ever.
Is that how
They
you
were
cook crack?
so
I have no
polite.
idea.
That's all I really ask. I prefer you didn't do crack, guys, but if you're going to do it, if you're polite, I'm not going to give you a problem.
I like how you really just casually were like, I knew it was crack and named like the most random ingredients, dude. How do you know that that's how you cook crack?
It's not Brillo, it's steel wool. Because they're packing up their pipe and they put the steel wool in.
Oh.
I don't know why I'm giving a crack explanation, but they use it in their crack smoking because they put the rock on the Brillo.
Baking
and then
powder, you said too?
some sort of substance.
That's too descriptive, Dad. Have
Yeah.
you ever done crack?
No, can't say I have. I have cleaned with a Brillo pad before, though. So halfway there,
Well, yeah,
apparently.
there you go, dude.
I was just missing baking powder. Baking soda, would it be?
halfway done.
I don't know what they were doing exactly, but
The guy was actually just cleaning a deep stain out of the concrete.
Yeah, dude. Kerrigan's walking by being like, they're doing crack. And it's like, our late night cleaning business is really not taking off.
yeah, that's a likelihood that they're cleaning my stairs.
It's just rubbing concrete.
Washington Heights, they used to do it in the daytime, which was in the middle of the sidewalk. I don't know what they were cooking up, that they'd be cooking stuff up.
Yeah.
And it was almost like you were in their way. You're like, could you move to the side, please? That was before pandemic. I don't know what it's like now.
I'm sure it's better.
Yeah. Oh. Washington Heights was fun when I lived there, though. It was wild but safe. There was a lot of wild stuff going on, and there could be violence, but it was all within the, it was within people who lived there. They didn't mess with the people who weren't from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like the street guys. They also
You got to
rat
respect
poison.
the etiquette.
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm all about. The etiquette, the politeness. It's all what I'm about.
That is good. Yeah. Even a criminal has to
Do
be
your
polite.
crack, but be humble about it.
A polite criminal really can get away with a lot.
Oh, of course.
For sure.
Of course.
So I want to switch gears. I want to ask you about this. It is drug related, but you are a big weed guy.
Yes.
We talk a lot about drugs and
Love
weed
it.
on the. And Mike, what used to be a big weed smoker, but is off it now. But you are a big weed guy. When did you start smoking weed?
High school, 16, probably.
Really? Okay.
And then it got more serious in college because that's when I was a baseball player, and that's when the pain really started to set into my arm.
Okay.
So I was like, I need something else outside of the oxy that they give you for Tommy John surgery. So
Oh, you had Tommy John?
I did, yes.
Oh shit.
But that was the end of my baseball career. But friends had always had injuries, so the painkiller. I mean, the amount of stuff we did to try to put off the pain in our arm. We used to have this special powder that was a mix of caffeine and some kind of Tylenol and pain reliever. And we would do lines of it. We'd put it into drinks and mix it because it would just give you this insane energy boost and numb out your whole body. And then you could just go out there and they'd be like, dude, Dan's on fire today. And I'd be like, I can't feel my elbow at all. But this is what we'd regularly, I have arthritis in my right arm and I'm 27. My arm is fully arthritic.
Dude, that's the shit that especially you don't think about when you're younger, in your college years. You're like, how is this going to affect me? You don't think about that stuff.
No, not at all. I'm just doing lines of, they're like, it's caffeine and Tylenol. I'm like, this should go up my nose.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing rugby, my freshman year of college. I played rugby all through college. My freshman year, I messed up my shoulder and I went to the hospital. I just dislocated it. It wasn't bad, didn't need surgery. But I remember asking, my idiot brain was like, I asked the doctor, can't you just hit me with an injection of something so I can play tomorrow? And he was like, no. And thank God he didn't, because there are coaches, if you played football in for Alabama, they're going to do that to you. They're going to hit you with that injection.
Absolutely.
To make you play.
I blew out my arm opening day of my first college game ever. So first NCAA game, my whole life I worked towards it, blow out the arm. The next day, I was a relatively important pitcher on the staff. So I
What
wake
does that
up.
feel like when you blow out your arm like that? Does it pop? Does it
Yeah,
crack? Does
I'll
it just
never
go
forget
weak?
the noise. It's the loudest pop you could imagine. You're like, oh no, that was, I literally called my catcher out. My arm was dangling. I was like, hey man, just so you know, I just blew it out, but I want to stay in. So I stayed in for 3 innings.
Oh my God.
I only gave up 1 hit. It was very nice. It was a good outing regardless of the exploded arm. And then the next morning I woke up and the trainer was down at the hot tub. So I went down there and I was like, hey dude, I think I tore my UCL. I'm like, this is really bad, but they needed me. So they were like, them and the coaches were like, they were like, get in the hot tub, put some warm water on it, and you'll be able to throw later. And I was like, when has a hot tub ever been diagnosed as medical relief for a torn ligament?
Oh.
And then they tried to make me throw that night because obviously that comes first, not the player. It's
Yeah.
what they could produce. And the ball just went straight in the air and landed. There was nothing in my arm.
Oh my God, dude.
So that was, weed started picking up right after that when my arm, I was like, I need something. Because they give you painkillers
Wow.
for a while, but you're very aware of, especially as a college athlete, I saw a lot of friends get kind of hooked on the painkiller. So I knew weed would be a better alternative.
And it does help with pain.
The weed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of pain? Kind of arthritis type stiffness
The
pain?
arthritis, the stiff, coming back from Tommy John too, the mental pain of not being able to play baseball anymore. That was a big one because I transitioned into comedy right away. I was still doing stand-up while I had the Tommy John cast on just because I needed something outside of that. But yeah, that's also when weed is big for me in running because running hurts. So when
Yeah.
you smoke weed and run, the pain kind of goes away. So I do think it takes away at least that immediate pain. And then when it wears off, you're like, oh no, everything's still torn.
Dude, for me, whenever I smoked weed, I don't really do it anymore. But if I remember one time people are like, "Oh, it helps with pain," and I had my back hurt or something. Something was like hurting me, and I smoked weed and I sat on my couch, and it literally just like made it hurt more because my brain was just focused on that one pinpoint. And it's like, just think about how painful this spot on your back is.
I was just about to say that. I was gonna be like, there are some runs where I'm like trying to hide the pain and I smoke, and all I feel is the area that hurts. So this is not a foolproof system. It's actually the opposite of that. Like, I've had people be like, "Oh, I want to smoke and run," and then a week later, runners will come to me. They're like, "My lungs are destroyed."
Taking dabs before you go running.
Because that's what I smoke joints. I smoke 2 joints before I do every run. So like, I guess it's not good. Yeah, I guess it's not good for the lungs.
That's wild. We always ask big weed smokers this question. What is like? Do you do edibles too?
Yes.
What's like what's your like top out on milligrams?
I mean, the most I had done like one of those crazy nights where you take like 500 milligrams and just sees what happened. And it's not fun. I think like 100 is the most I would do now. And like even a good 50 milligram edible will get you where you need to be.
That's great. I take 5 and I'm like, on another planet.
Yeah, 50 to 60 is like recommended for like a guy my size. But I think with edibles is, it depends on where you get them. Like I think I went to a bodega and got one of these like power punch bars. Now, the milligrams it said on it was outrageous, and I ended up through the night eating it, and I'm like, it said it was like 1,000 milligrams. There's no way it was, because I've had 150 on wax gummies, and it was like way too much. So there's definitely some big play with edibles.
Are wild.
Yeah. You don't know what you're getting. Like those wax gummies felt to me like 500, like it was like the max for me. But you know what? They were unlabeled, and that's what the guy said. They could have been 500 milligrams too.
Every bodega I go to now, when I buy papers, they're like, "Hey, I also sell weed now too." It's like every bodega guy is now a weed salesman. It's crazy.
Dude,
it is nuts.
Funny.
He's literally going, "I don't want anyone to know," and I'm like, "Look behind you," and he's just got a rack of edibles. I'm like, "You don't want anyone to." It's on display. It's almost like you're a dispensary.
Yeah, some of them have the jars on the counter, and I'll be looking at the jar, and the guy will be looking at me like, "Are you a cop?" I'm like, "Dude, if I was a cop, and this was illegal, it's on the countertop."
There are some with the
Don't call
the
the
bars
police.
now. There's a bodega with mushroom bars.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Are you a big mushroom guy too? Hallucinogenic?
Yeah, not from a bodega though. I'm not gonna. You don't. The portal to God is not bought through a bodega.
Dude, I barely trust the chopped cheese from a bodega. I'm not gonna be taking hallucinogenics.
Throw some psilocybin on my chopped cheese. That's really what I need here.
Dude, we're probably 6 months away from that, honestly. Of them just being like, "Do you want the special?" Dude, there's a place, one of the clubs in the Village, that pizza place next to the comedy shop. They were selling a weed pizza where they like I don't even know if they put weed on the pizza or they just sell you a pizza for $40 and then give you weed.
No, it was, I think it was oil.
Was it oil?
Yeah.
There's a very famous stoned pizza maker in New York. He's like, I've watched a guy become like, he'll put on Instagram now like the brownstones that he's buying. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, why does comedy ever the thing? Inflation has hit everything except comedy. I don't understand. Prices are going up and everything. And then clubs are like, we're going to give you $10 less. And I'm like, but everyone's paying more for everything.
Yeah.
My therapist yesterday she's like, we're tripling the price because of inflation. I'm like, did mental health go up in price?
Dude, I was doing therapy for a while and then I stopped, and I still owe my therapist like a lot of money in that I'm like slowly paying off, and I need therapy to handle how much money I owe him. Like, it's a problem.
That's what my girlfriend was like, is your therapist going to become 3 times more effective now?
Dude,
like, you have to heal me extra if I'm going to pay you 3 times.
Yeah, I would stop.
Yeah, that's wild.
I can't stop. I'm autistic. I get more weird when I stop going.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think you told me that.
Asperger's, baby. Oh, you can't call it that anymore.
Really? Why not?
Because the guy was a Nazi. Dr. Asperger was a Nazi, kind of. So then it's our fault. That's what I talk about on stage. I'm like, I didn't do it, man. Like, we had the right word. And then, like, because you tell everyone you're autistic, and then everyone says the same shit to me. Like, you don't look autistic. I'm like, yeah, because Love on the Spectrum doesn't book a lot of normal-looking people.
That would be hilarious if Love on the Spectrum just really shifted away from like just hard autistic, and like they were just like, we can't even tell anymore.
I love the show so much as an autistic person. There are like they throw some regular ones in there.
Yeah.
But like if you watch it with the captions on, the amount of times an autistic guy's talking and underneath it just puts grunts. This one poor guy, it said grunt, and then right after it said stuttering grunt. I'm like, you couldn't pick one? This poor guy.
That's so bad.
Does Asperger's kick in at a certain age?
I think it was always there. It was just for for my parents, they never understood it. It was not. I was always misdiagnosed like bipolar or shit like that growing up. It wasn't until I was an adult that it was kind of pieced together. They were like, oh, it's just like a neurotypical thing.
Were you were you like less social as a youth, and then you became more social, or were you always kind of the same?
Weirdly, so like that's the weird thing about autism is like you meet one autistic person, you met one autistic person. That's like the cliche saying. I was always very outgoing, but in the things I liked. Like I would go through phases. Like I was obsessed with clowns. So then for like 5-6 years of my life, I would dress up as a clown every day, go out in public and just be a clown.
Oh, okay. This is all making sense.
How old are you?
A kid. Yeah.
Okay.
It went from that then to Santa. I love Santa. So then I went through a Santa phase where in July, I'm just dressed like Santa giving gifts around the neighborhood. So like I was always outgoing.
Dude, that's awesome. That is
hilarious.
But it was always like through phases. So people would be like, oh, you don't seem autistic because you're outgoing. I'm like, yeah, but if you realize my outgoingness is in comedy, it's in running. Yeah. It's in stuff that I'm comfortable doing. So like if I'm comfortable with it, and it's always like these obsessions. Like one time I loved golf balls. So for years I just collected golf balls.
Dude, that's so fun. Maybe I'm autistic because I have a lot of those obsessions too.
Yeah, you don't stick with it hard enough. I mean, this kid runs for real. If you were, you'd be losing a lot more weight if you were autistic.
What a piece of shit. That's what I do want to talk about. Dude, you're a runner now. It's crazy the miles that you do.
Yes.
You haven't always been a runner.
Have not always been a runner. Running was always used as punishment in baseball.
Dude,
so maybe there's that sadistic
man.
part of me that goes back to the days where I would piss off my coaches for like drinking and partying, and they'd be like, you got to run.
And what do you do? What are we talking here as far as miles?
We're talking, so right now I'm 4 months away about. November 4th is my first 100-mile race.
Wow.
100 miles through the mountains of West Virginia.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I honestly, I think I talked to you one time before, and when you told me that, I didn't even know it was I didn't know it was physically possible to do it. I'm going to be watching YouTube videos about this. Like, I thought you would just die.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
there's races now that go to like 250 miles long. Wow. The Cocodona 250 in Arizona, which I would love to do in a few years, is through the desert, just straight 250 miles.
How long does that take?
The 250 miler is anywhere from like 2 to 3. I mean, most people probably 4 to 5 days. I mean, the guys who are winning it are near the front.
Oh, do you guys stop at night to sleep?
In that race, yes. Sleeping
oh, okay.
Happen.
That makes sense
like
to me.
Regular naps, though. Like the guys who are trying to win that they'll go as long as they can until like someone at a medical tent is like, you need to sleep right now. And then they'll sleep for like a bare minimum amount of time and then keep moving. Like even in some tough 100-milers, like there's this one woman, Courtney DeWalter, who's like the most competitive. She notoriously in one race took a 1-minute nap and full REM'd. Like she hit REM in a minute. And then when she woke up, she yelled at her crew. She was like, why'd you guys let me sleep so long? And they were like, you were out cold for 60 seconds.
Wow, dude.
How much is the most a person can run without a break?
Is there? Oh yeah, that's good. Is there a record?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Oh,
That's what I'm wondering. So like, there's a type of ultramarathon. So that's what this running is called. It's called ultra running. And then in ultra running, there's different sects. An ultra marathon is technically anything over marathon distance. You have races that are like 50Ks, which are 30 miles. 50 is a big amount, the 50 to 60 range. 100Ks are big, and then 100 miles and plus. And then there's this sect called backyard ultras where you run a 4.1 something mile loop. It's like a specific time. You run this loop every hour on the hour, last man standing. Say you finish the loop in 35 minutes, you have 25 minutes to rest, but you can't start. You have to wait for everyone to get back, and then you take off again at the top of the hour. A guy named Harvey Lewis broke the record in that this year, and I'm going to get the number wrong. I'd have to look it up, but he ran somewhere in the range of 350 to 370 miles straight.
Wow.
That was like over 3 days of running, and his only break was, 10 to 20-minute increments.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. So there's people doing insane. Like my buddy Mike Wardian just ran across the country. His last day, he ran 115 miles and closed on a 6-minute mile.
Oh, my God,
After running from San Francisco to Rehoboth. That's why I love running. It's like, because comics are cool, but they're lazy. So like now I have this whole group of friends who is like, they're like, yeah, you want to go run 50 miles today? And I'm like, well, I don't, but I appreciate that you guys do.
Dude, that's what you need too with like that kind of stuff. You need someone who pushes you. I've heard interviews with like, actually I heard a David Goggins where it was like this guy, one of his buddies couldn't reach a certain point, and he was like, let's go run. And he was like, how far are we going? He just wouldn't tell him, and then they ends up running like 30 miles or something like that. But like, dude, yeah, I run like 1.5 miles a week ago, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty beat. I'm gonna go in the house.
You know what it is? It is great to. It's like I'm running. I just started running. That's why I'm probably in bad shape. It's such your mind starts to try to make you give in, And because you told me some rule, which I liked a lot. It was like the 40% rule or something.
Yeah, the Goggins rule.
Yeah, I'll have him tell you in a sec. But like I was running just a short distance, just started running, so everything's out of whack. Your brain's just like, just stop. Just come on.
Yeah.
Just pull over to the side. It's really mental. And once you get past that, I'm like, wait, I could probably go so much further than what my brain is saying. And explain to them what that is. That's a great thing.
Yeah, so Goggins had this rule, which is what got me into ultra running, which was the 40% rule, which is that, I think that's the number he uses, that when you think you're at the end, like you've actually only used like 40% of your energy, you actually have like basically half a tank left to go, and it's like your mind telling you to stop. And the first time I heard that, I was doing I'd never run more than 4 miles, and I was on a boardwalk, and I dropped my water bottle into the water, and I lost it. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to run. I don't have my water bottle.
Yeah.
But then I was like, let's try this Goggins shit. So then I just ran 8 miles straight down the end of the boardwalk and was like, oh, no, I don't need to run 8 back. I have never run more than 4 miles before. So I hit the half marathon point on the way back, and at that point, my nipples are fully bleeding.
Oh, dude.
Like, I go to a woman who's getting in her car, and I'm like, miss, can you please drive me to the end of the boardwalk? I'm like, I just ran a half marathon. I've never ran more than 4 miles. I think I'm going to die. And she was like, absolutely not. And got in her car and kept going. She couldn't have been more startled.
Are you serious?
She should have been. I would not give a ride to anyone who's bleeding from their nipples. Male or woman, that's not a good story.
Yeah, that could have if she got killed, everyone would be like, yeah, that was her bad. He rolled up sweating. His nipples are bleeding.
And they found her body on the side of the road with no nipples.
It's a fucking nipple killer.
It's the nipple killer.
It should have been a fucking...
I'll never forget just being in pain and like that rejection and then just walking those cold last 3 miles. But yeah, that was the 40. And that's when I realized, I was like, this crazy motherfucker is actually onto something. And that kind of changed a lot for me, where I was just like started pushing much harder than I had ever had before. But it's weird because like comedy is all neuroses, and then running is all like, especially that distance of running, you kind of feel like you're healing your neuroses. Because it really, like, some of the shit that comes up in ultra marathons, I'm baffled at. Like, anxieties that I didn't really know I had, or that I knew I had and I didn't think would come up in running, like in my personal life. And your mind just like forces you to deal with them. Like Goggins also says that. He's like, anything that you're anxious about in your regular life will come up at mile 80 or 70. It's going to come up. And after going through that and like going through each ultra, I feel like I get worse and worse at comedy. I'm like, I need more. And that's why, guys, I'm drinking whiskey right now. Out of
I put it in the mug specifically so you didn't
we're
have
talking
to tell
health,
anybody.
and I got a cup of whiskey here. I just want the people
He
to
did.
know.
He came in hot. He was like, I could use a drink. And I was like, okay.
I came in hot. The hands came in shaky.
Yeah, I feel like you're putting out this like pillar of health. You're like, yeah, I run 150 miles, but I like how you're balancing it out with whiskey in a cup. I also want to talk to your, kid just got his first 3 tattoos of his life in a week and a half?
It's been a
Dude, I swear to God, I seen you on Instagram fucking 2 weeks ago post 1 tattoo and then 2 back to back. I'm like, think about right on the forearm, baby.
Yeah, I really went prime real estate. All 3 of these have been done. We're done in a 2-week period. Yes, all at the same place in Brooklyn. Shout out FIB Bar. It's a bar that does tattoos.
Is that by? Is that by King's Theater?
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, dude, I went there
Yeah.
because I saw Tom Segura at King's Theater, and I went there for a drink before, and I go, they do fucking tattoos in here?
Yeah.
That is unsanitary.
Right? They do it downstairs. It's actually a really nice
Oh,
shop.
yeah? That's pretty cool, actually.
I like it. The egg is my favorite.
Yeah, what do you got here?
I have an egg
I do like that
broken. I got it says it's all right now. That's a quote from Ram Dass, who's a spiritual dude. And then this was the first one because I'm coming out of a breakup and very quickly into another relationship. So I thought a happy face from a sad face, because happiness can come from a sad thing.
Okay.
What I did not know is the universal symbol for bipolar disorder. So, yeah.
Hey, listen, at least it's not there permanently.
I know. All right. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. But yeah, 3 tattoos in 3 weeks. So you know what? Everyone's been telling me that I've been spiraling after this breakup. And I'm like, I'm not spiraling. Everything's fine. They're like, you have an egg tattooed on you.
Yeah, no, listen, if someone in my life came to me and they were like, hey, I just got my first tattoo, and then my second and my third all within 11 days, I would have concerns.
My favorite thing about it is like, I'm used to comics sitting down in front of me and being like, how are you? Every comic I see now will sit down next to me and they go, Dan, how's it going? I mean, the hellos have changed so much. I'm like, guys, it's okay. Like,
it's so funny.
Social media makes things look better, and it also makes things look worse. I guess I haven't chose the right stories to post in the breakup or the right things. There may have been some missteps along the way, but it's not as crazy as it seems.
Do you have any plans for more?
I had an appointment this weekend that I canceled. I canceled the appointment this weekend because, quite truthfully, I was looking at the bank account and I was like, I would need to sell some merch to get this tattoo.
Yo, what was the tattoo?
This one was going to be like, it was going to be on my leg. My childhood dog was named Tabasco, so it was going to be a bottle of Tabasco sauce with his face on
That's
the
cool.
inside.
I like that.
And then I bailed on it.
What kind of dog was it?
A puggle.
A puggle. What's that mixed with? A pug and a
pug and a beagle.
Oh,
I was
wow.
going to think of like a joke to make, but I had nothing quick in the moment that was uggle.
I've never met someone who cares so much about dogs than Mike.
I love dogs.
I love dogs.
I love dogs too, but you know when an attractive woman is walking with a dog and you can like, oh, like I love the dog, but also then I can talk to this like beautiful person.
Yeah.
Kerrigan will legit be like I was with him and it's just like guy and he's like, oh my God, is that a ba 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 ba? And just rattled off the breed of the dog. Never heard of it. And he's like, yeah. And Kerrigan's like, yeah, my family breeds them or whatever.
We don't breed them, but we've had
What was the dog?
It was a Keeshhound.
A Keeshhound.
We don't breed them. We just watch them fuck. All right.
Yeah, no outcome, just the process.
I do love dogs though.
As do I. I mean, big dog fan. My girlfriend currently has a Shiba Inu, which I've learned is a huge conversation starter for people in public. They love being like, wow, that's a cool dog.
Yeah, don't like them because, not that I don't like them, but as a guy like who pets dogs that aren't his a lot of times without permission, Shiba Inu is very standoffish.
Yes, hers is actually, she says the opposite. Hers is so friendly. It's
that's
really
rare.
nice. But
That's
she
rare.
had told me that they're like a stingy dog, which I kind of like. They're like an autistic dog.
Yeah, they stick to their people.
We're kind of, that's what I try to tell people. I'm like, autistic, we're kind of like dogs. You know, we don't like the loud noises. If you touch us the wrong way, we will bite you. Like, there are a lot of similarities. I bit a lot as a kid. They should have known.
Dude, so did I.
Yeah.
When I was really little.
I mean, people.
Kid.
And like,
yeah, me,
oh yeah,
me too.
yeah.
I
knew,
bite like my
I knew
cousins
people who
and
did
shit.
that.
Yeah.
one time my mom, she tells this story where she invited this woman over. My parents, they only had me, and there was this woman who had like 3 kids. And in my mom's words, she was like, I'm pretty sure this lady was abused by her husband. So I really wanted to invite her out to get to know her better in case she needed help. So they bring the 3 kids over. The woman's clearly anxious. Like, she's like, maybe she's not supposed to be out with the kids. And they have this adorable baby. I'm a kid too. And my mom tells a story that she just hears screaming from downstairs, and they walk up, and the baby just has a huge bite mark on its face.
Oh my God!
And I'm sitting there like with the baby, and they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "It was so cute. How could I not?" And she's like, the woman just started crying, and she was like, "This is gonna be so bad for me," and then just let. So we never saw them again. So if you know of a woman from Brooklyn with 3 kids who's been missing for approximately 25 years, please reach out.
That's terrible. Yeah, dude. I used to bite. Apparently, I don't remember it, but I'm a great guy now. But as a kid, yeah, apparently I used to just fucking latch on, and bite people.
I'm a great guy now. It's been years since the last bite.
Dude, there is a video. There is a video at like a family party where I have one of those like little buggy cars, and I guess it's mine, and I'm like trying to, I'm sitting in it, and my cousin, who's a couple years older, like reaches in to try to like honk the horn or turn the steer, and I literally, this video, I just like lunge forward and like bite her on the arm. You can't even get it. It's just video evidence, dude. I'm like 3 years old.
He might be autistic, actually. That's a lot of biting.
Really?
How'd they get you out of it? Shock therapy in the garage?
I don't know.
Batteries?
I don't have a lot of memories of me as a kid.
I know there's something missing now. Now that I've heard this biting story, there's a bit of Dylan's history we don't know about.
Yeah, I just remember that. I remember watching the video, but I don't have the actual memory. When are you supposed to have memories as a kid?
I have none, so I'm with you.
Yeah,
I think really have... I think they say generally, I think it's probably different, but 3 on.
3 on?
Yeah.
You have memories as a 4-year-old?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, maybe even young, some real young ones. I don't know why I remember them.
I feel like I have maybe like a couple memories as being like young, like a hand, but like most of my memories are like starting at like 7 or 8.
Yeah, well, some people develop differently. Some people talk really quick.
Yeah.
I had a buddy who didn't speak till he was like 3 years old, but I think there was a trauma involved there. Oof. Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, there's a part of me that worries that since I don't have many memories, I'm like, am I blocking out something major that happened as a kid? That's what I wonder about people like us who don't.
I think about it. I really don't think so.
Out child. The only memory I have is one year when I was younger, I asked my parents for 100 red balloons for Christmas, and they got them for me.
I'm trying to think. I got, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I got some younger, but like preschool maybe, but I don't know how old I was. I would imagine like 4 or 5 probably.
Oh yeah, I
Going to,
remember
preschool
everything.
stuff?
Well, not literally every day, but I remember that well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
I'm
have a ton
envious
of
of you. I think I would like. I'm 27, and I really don't even remember much of my college years.
Really?
Yeah, I've been in quite a few car accidents since, though. So
Have you? How many car accidents?
2 in the span of 3 months when it happened. So like one was a traumatic brain injury as well.
Are you
or
serious?
At least like I had to go to cognitive therapy for it. That's what they called it, like a minor traumatic brain injury, because I had spilled. I had told people I spilled the hot coffee. At that point, I didn't drink hot coffee. I drank like mocha coladas. I spilled the mocha colada on my lap from Dunkin' in traffic. And I went down to like get it, and I accidentally hit the gas and crashed in the car in front of me. But since I was bent over picking it up, the airbag hit me and snapped my neck back.
Oh,
and like that movement of the brain, like I lost so many memories after that. I had to go to like these weird cognitive therapies where they would just show you shit on a screen, and you'd have to like remember the shapes.
Wow.
And then 3 months later, I was in a car accident with a drunk driver.
Were you in the car with the drunk driver, or were you hit by a drunk driver?
This is also a staged joke. I crashed into him, but he was drunk.
Oh yeah, hey, that's ideal. That's perfect, yeah.
I won the lawsuit.
That's crazy.
It was his fault in hindsight.
Yeah.
He got drunk and fell asleep in the middle of the road, the exit lane.
Oh, and
he thought he had pulled off to the side of the road. It was 2 a.m, and he just fell asleep. It was like a 55, 60 mile an hour lane. Oh. So I went into him full speed.
Wow.
Ooh. That one I just broke my feet somehow. I don't know.
Oh, broke both feet?
I believe so. Yeah, because
you know
the car
probably
scrunched up.
is you probably you push down.
You push down,
like
and
braking.
that's exactly what they said. Yeah. And then the brake stops, and then you actually you're the one who breaks your feet.
Yeah,
just from pushing.
Damn, dude, that's brutal. Have you broken anything else? So you got the elbow surgery, broken feet.
This is the worst. I broke my jaw in high school.
How'd that happen?
My center fielder on my baseball team got into a collision with our right fielder. He broke his jaw very bad. He had to go to the hospital and get it wired and all this shit. I visit him the next day in the hospital. I pass out on my face. My jaw breaks through my ear. I am put in the hospital the same day with a broken jaw.
Dude, that's weird. That is weird. Yeah. I thought you were going to say you went in, you seen him, you went in a rage and like went on a revenge streak.
Just start hooking nurses. You did this to... Yeah, I passed out on my face. My chin caught I literally woke up in the room in a pool of blood. I'm like, because my chin split open. So I'm in a pool of blood. And there was like a Bugs Bunny balloon, and it just floated past me. And all I said was, "Who let Bugs Bunny in?" And the next thing you know, I'm being turned over and put on a stretcher.
Oh my God.
And then the doctor comes in, and he goes, like, they do the test, and this is like later in the evening, and he goes, "I don't know if you're the best friend ever or the worst friend ever, but you just broke your jaw visiting your friend with a broken jaw." I didn't need like surgery or anything because it broke through my ear, which has still led to hearing issues in adulthood. I don't have most of my hearing in my right ear.
Oh shit.
But like it broke through the ear.
Damn. Did it have to get wired shut?
Nope. Healed on its own. Wow. Well, that's what they said it was going to heal on its own, and then the ear never healed.
Damn.
So like I've needed tubes in my ears, but that was something I needed as a kid anyway. Like autistic people have a lot of buildup of fluid in their ears.
Really?
Yeah, I've had tubes into adulthood.
Oh shit. That's
Can you swim? Like, are you allowed to swim?
I can. I hate going to the bottom of a pool. It really annoys me. Yeah, I love swimming. I love doing laps. Decent swimmer. Really can't go. The lower I go, the more it hurts. And planes are really tough. When a plane lands, I look like such a spaz.
Oh, with the popping thing?
Yeah.
Going to a bottom of the pool hurts me too. I feel like these might just be related, or maybe I am autistic.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe I've just passed it on to you.
Is it contagious?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah, dude. I go swim to a bottom of the pool. It hurts too. So when you were young, were you a partier when you were younger, in like high school, and like early college, or did you kind of get into that kind of after college?
I was a drinker more than a partier, I'd say, because I liked drinking, but I wasn't popular.
Okay. So did you get in trouble when you were a kid?
Yes. I was arrested 3 times.
Were you really?
Yes.
Oh, here we go, baby.
Mischief, and selling weed.
Okay. How old were you when the first one happened?
16. Me and my girlfriend in high school and her friend and boyfriend were out, and we wanted to go egging. So we went to CVS and bought like 3 cartons or 4 cartons of eggs. Obviously, the woman called the police immediately because they were like, there's kids buying 4 cartons of eggs. They're not just making an omelet night. And then we egged the first car that drove past us, and it had its window down, and I threw like a perfect spiral into the car. And then the dude got out, and all I saw was the gun on his waist. So then I just screamed like every man for himself, and I left my girlfriend. Like, this is the full true story. Left my girlfriend, We were in Matawan, New Jersey, which is where we went to high school, in Homedale, St. John Vianney. So we go to this place called Strathmore, which is like a movie theater, restaurants. I go to Strathmore. I buy a ticket for a movie, and I sit in the movie theater. I'm like, I'm going to get away with this. Fuck them. They're going to get arrested. That's fine. I had on my varsity jacket. So the cops come in, cuff me, and take me out.
In the movie?
Yeah. I'm like, how'd you guys find me? They're like, the back of your jacket says Lamorte on it. And massive cursive lettering. And they're like, your girlfriend told us your name.
Wow.
So that was the first time I was arrested. And then they just let us go.
What movie
that
were
night.
you watching? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I
was
need to
on
know
full
now.
panic. For some reason, like a Paranormal Activity is sounding like it would have been that time.
yeah.
I graduated in 2013, so I think that was around the time where it was coming out.
That's not bad. So they let you go. They didn't really hit you.
Let
with
us
that?
go that time. Let me go when I got arrested on my school bus, because that one was
Really?
mostly not me. We were bad on the school bus. We used to like cut off the seatbelts and throw them out the window and shit. Egging out of the window. But one of the kids on the school bus did that, cut off a seatbelt, broke a windshield, and I got blamed for it. So I got arrested on the school bus for
You
that.
took the blame?
Yeah, I told them it wasn't me, and they were like, nah, it probably was, because I had
That's
thrown an
fucked
egg
up,
at the bus
dude.
driver that morning. So like, I wasn't completely. So I got banned from the bus at that point for a little while. My parents hated that, because then one of them has to find a way to get you to school every day.
That sucks. That's
Like
a parent punishment.
Yeah, your parents then have to just give up work. It's like, what are you doing, school?
Yeah.
I understand I'm an asshole, but you can't just make an adult not go to work. Well, I guess
That's
they
a
did.
hard parent punishment.
Oh, absolutely. And then shortly after that, I got arrested for selling weed. And that was the one where my parents really, that was like, my mom is such deep Irish Catholic guilt with her parents that when I got arrested for selling weed, she made me call her mom and apologize.
How much you get caught with?
Not much at all. Like, it was
Yeah.
literally like, it had to be less than an ounce, because we were
Oh,
kids. We didn't
okay.
have money to really.
Yeah.
We were just trying to. What happened was we were going to we were older kids. We were like juniors going to like a sophomore party that night, and we wanted to just bag up dime bags as dubs and rip them off. So we had all of these like dime bags packets, so it looked like we were selling a lot, when in reality we were just going to rip off one party. This was like our first big scheme to do it. And I ran a red light and had all the weed in the center console with my license and registration underneath it. So like when the cop asked for it, I was like, you can't have it. And then obviously they just searched the car and arrested the three of us and shit. And like that one was a real one, like cuff, Miranda rights, all that stuff.
That
Had to go to
sucks.
court.
What happened with that?
Good lawyer, got me off. That was the year I got a lawyer for Christmas. And that was the last time I was arrested. I mean,
That's a
there's
good
been close
Christmas,
calls
dude.
in adulthood, but
Really?
I've always skidded out of the way.
You know, I've never, knock on wood, never gotten arrested. Never even been close, I don't think.
Yeah, not surprising.
Okay. Well, you know.
It's good, dude. Being arrested is not cool. Going to court is worse, I think.
I used to be in court every
yeah.
single day, but on the opposite side.
You
know
were
what
a
I mean?
judge?
I was a prosecutor. Yeah, I was a judge, dude. No, I was a prosecutor for 5 years. I told you that.
You
right?
were a lawyer?
I still am.
What?
Yeah, dude.
You look so young.
Yeah, he's in entertainment law, so if anyone out there needs
True. Now I do entertainment law.
yeah.
You're like, I know entertainment and I know law.
Dude, I work for my buddy, but yeah, it's he has the firm, but it's great, yeah. But yeah, I was a prosecutor for 5 years, so you know, all you hooligans, dude, all you troublemakers.
I wish I did something like that as well. I'll never forget the second
Now
my
I do
elbow
this.
snapped.
Now I do this.
The second my elbow snapped when I was playing baseball, the first
Yeah.
thought in my head was I should have paid attention in school more. That was the first. I was
man.
like, oh shit! I really wish I didn't put so much thought into baseball.
Did you think you were gonna go pro? Did you have dreams of going pro?
Yeah, I mean, the Phillies had talked to me at points. 'Cause
Really?
One scout specifically at the Phillies, Wilmer, I still keep his business card in my wallet, loved me a lot. There was one specific game he saw me where my catcher, I came in to close the game, struck out the first batter, but the catcher dropped it, so the guy got on first, and then I struck out the next three. So I had 4 strikeouts in an inning, and then that was when the interest on their end started. But coming out of high school, wasn't drafted, no interest outside of the Phillies. And then college, I started throwing a lot harder. I didn't throw hard in high school. I was always the guy who was like pretty nifty. I had to get by through like, I had a mean changeup. That's what people used to say. I also had a mean system for hiding thumbtacks, pine tar, and petroleum jelly on my body to dominate
Really?
baseball. Yeah, I was very old school, filthy kind of pitcher like that because I didn't throw hard. So I needed to do what I did to get by. Because
You gotta get the movement.
I was on teams. I was playing guys who are still in the major leagues now, and especially in the summer, I was playing for teams from Florida and from Georgia. So I was on these good teams because I knew how to pitch, but I didn't throw hard. So I always needed something to get by.
Shit.
And then college, I started throwing just drastically harder. Where like that summer going into college, like started sitting in the low 90s. Things were looking good, and then the arm just couldn't handle it at all.
Wow.
How did you get that strength? Did you have to lift to get that? Or
There was
just
a lot
get-
of lifting. I had started because the scouts recruiting me in college, going into college, were all pretty honest, where they were like, you're a good pitcher, but you're a fat piece of shit. Scouts were very honest. They would put up scouting reports online about you that would be like, Lamorte has a thick frame. That's what they used to say. You're in high school reading this. People are like, oh, body dysmorphia. I'm like, I had scouts publicly posting this on sites that thousands of people looked at to recruit you, being like, Lamorte's fat and should not be fat.
Dude, one of those scouts probably watching this show. He's like, and now I'm the reason he's skinny.
Yeah.
The mental trauma.
Oh, God, dude.
So, yeah, that's when I started getting into shape, when I started getting scholarship offers, because I knew that I had to. And then I think just a mix of that and now being in a college program where I had a real pitching coach and real workouts and a real gym. I say that real. I went to a school called Felician University, so our initials were FU. I shit you not, hand wrote my college entrance exam on loose leaf. So I don't know what type of school we're dealing with here.
Holy shit, dude. That's so
Their
funny.
biggest turnout at the school is cops, and you don't need to go to college for that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It gets worse. Our campus was Fairleigh Dickinson's old campus. They were tired of it and picked up and left and went to a new campus. And then this school came in and was like, we'll take the old one.
Oh, my
It was a hand-me-down college.
Where was it?
East Rutherford, New Jersey, right by Giant Stadium.
Of course,
The
dude.
year I left, they only had one dorm building. The year I left, so many people extra came into the school that they put a lot of the students in the Red Roof Inn, and almost all of them got bed bugs. That was their dorm, was a Red Roof Inn.
That
you
is
imagine, dude?
ghetto. Dude, Red Roof Inn. Where do you stay? I stay at the Red Roof Inn. They're like, dude, are you homeless or cooking meth? What are you doing?
It's never a Red Roof is never a good look, especially as a college dorm.
Yeah, what dorm are you in? The Holiday?
The only good thing
The
is
Marriott?
if they did this is do they change the sheets for the college kids?
Yeah, do you have
That's
that
what
would be
I'm
nice.
also trying to
dude.
wonder them using their meal card at a Red Roof Inn.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
isn't this working?
Yeah,
Because they only serve one meal a day. It's eggs, eggs and cereals.
Yeah, the inevitable Texas Roadhouse that's attached to every Red Roof Inn. Just eating that 3 times a day, dude.
They have to have built more dorms at this point by now. It was a wild school. There are things I could say. We had kids on our team. We had one kid on our team who at no point was a student of the college. And we were a competitive Division II school who regularly made it to these tournaments.
Really?
We had a kid who there would be no record of him ever attending our school. He might not have even been a college kid. I'm not going to go into details. The kid still follows me. What I could say is this kid wouldn't shower. He was one of those big kids. And everyone was you have to shower. You have to shower. No, I'm not showering. We were going on our first big trip, which is we would take the shitty team bus, which was just an out-of-service New Jersey Transit bus that had our colors painted on the side.
Nice.
To Florida. So we'd have to drive this bus to Florida from East Rutherford. He went into the gym and did a 4-hour lift and then got right on the bus.
Brutal.
Just the stinkiest. And the behavior on this bus, I mean, you have people mixing codeine, NyQuil, and cups just to pass out because you're only stopping when that bus wants to stop. So you're stuck at the I don't know the word. I'm not smart enough. I was like bequest, but I'm like bequest isn't a word.
You could just say the will of the bus driver.
The will of the bus driver. My brain always wants to go to the smart word, and then it just goes, "That's not you, man." That's
just
not
say,
you.
"Hey, you're stuck at the will of the bus driver."
Right. I think you were right on that. The bequest. We'll get ripped up in the comments on this one.
I don't know. The bequest, dude. That's crazy. So were you were there any other sports at the school, or was it was baseball the main sport, or were you guys competing with a football team or
no football team? There was pretty much everything else.
Okay.
We were I would say at that point in my time in the school, we were very much the competitive ones. The baseball team was the good team there. The coach I'd grown up with, so that really helped because when I got arrested in high school, there was some of the other schools that had stopped showing interest because that was on some of the recruiting things. Have you ever been arrested?
That's tough, dude.
We were very much I'm not going to get into some of the things people on my team had done because they're really bad, true crimes.
Really?
But we were a last chance you almost in some aspects where there was a lot of forgiveness given.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yes, for things that maybe shouldn't have been forgiven for some people, but they were. They cared about winning, and that's what they did.
Hey, business first. That's what they. Yikes.
They always want me to go back and do their banquet, and I'm like, I think you guys don't want me to speak about the school. They're the type of school
I have
that
a lot of thoughts.
They were like, "What's your college price?" And I gave them my price, which as a comedian, when you do colleges, the price is high. It is what it is. Colleges have the money, and then they were like, "We can't do that." I was like, "All right, I was like, I'll literally cut it down to $500. And they were like, how about $250? And I was like, no.
Jeez, dude. Jeez. That's brutal.
You graduate?
No, I left so quickly.
Okay.
I was already thinking of transferring out to a Division I school to play when I had gotten hurt, before I'd gotten hurt, because I wanted to go elsewhere. And like we were doing that thing where all of the freshmen were talking about leaving because we didn't love it. And then I got hurt and I was like, all right, guys, let's do it. And I left and no one else left. And then I went to a junior college called Mercer County Community College because I still thought I was going to come back. I had like a team of 3 doctors and a really great physical therapist who were helping me get back. I got my surgery by the Yankees doctor, Dr. Ahmad, put the fucking Yankees ring on my finger before he did the surgery. He's like, you're going to be in great hands. Botched the shit out of my arm.
Did he really?
Really mangled it. Was never able to throw a baseball again. I've never even thrown off a mound since then. And yeah, I was the only one who left the school.
Holy shit. So this guy fucked up your arm?
I would say, yeah, because I tried so hard to come back. The physical therapy didn't work. I went to this junior college, which at that time was one of the top JUCOs in the country, great program, and I just didn't have it. Like at Felician, it was very much understood like we were talented, so practice was not that it wasn't hard, but it was laid back because we knew the skills that we had.
Yeah.
This junior college was a different ball game. Like the first day, the coach was like, we're doing a 7-mile run. And ironically, that's when I quit baseball. I went up to him and I said, this is no longer fun. I quit. And that was my last baseball practice ever because of running.
Now you fucking
and
run
now
for
I
fun.
volunteer to run 100 miles.
Dude, that's
It's
crazy.
like it is all weird full circle. And I would love to play baseball again. Like there's a part of me, like independent leagues, which is like they pay you like $25 a game. They're always looking for a gimmick. I want to pitch like a series where I'm like, let's let this comedian who's actually in better shape now than he was in college come and try to make a comeback.
Dude, I just went. It was my niece's birthday this week. We went to a Ducks game. Yeah, they're an independent. I was trying to figure out like what, and I've heard about the Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
I'm sure you've heard of them.
They're the traveling ones who kind of make it funny.
Yeah.
Like barnstorming, which was like an old school baseball thing where they'd put together a team like Babe Ruth used to do it, and they would just travel the team through the country playing other white baseball players. At that point.
Yeah. Well, dude, they do like they dance during they have all these rules like a home run or a foul ball caught by a fan is an out.
Yeah, I like
they
that.
have all these like no mound visits, there's like a time cap for the game. It's like it's called banana rules from what I've looked at, and it makes it like way quicker, more fun, more fan friendly, more exciting.
And it seems like a lot of people are going out to the games and shit, which is cool because everyone that's a thing. Like baseball is I was a bullpen pitcher.
Dude.
Like it's not uncommon for bullpen pitchers to sleep in the bullpen. Like it wasn't rare for someone to have a sleeping bag and be like, I'm going to tap out. Let me know when I got to come into the game.
That's so funny.
And you get woke. Like that's, I think, why I do comedy, because the bullpen is like, the first pilot I'd ever written was called The Bullpen, just because the characters are wild. The things bullpen pitchers do are crazy.
That's what kind of stuff?
Just to fuck. I mean, we're fucking with each other. Hot feet. I don't know if you know what a hot foot is. That's when you light your teammate's cleat on fire. It's like really aggressive thing. Like we would fuck with people in porta potties, not fully pushing over, but there would be the hole in the top.
Yeah.
So we would drop baseballs into the hole, which would cause the shit if it was full to plop up. I remember one time this was done to me. I was at a Brooklyn Cyclones game, and they do that thing where they put like 2 fans in those big hamster balls.
Oh yeah,
roll across they had the hamster balls behind the bullpen.
Okay.
Before we go on, me and my dad are in there. The pitchers are just firing balls at us while we're in this hamster ball, just ripping line drives at us from the bullpen to us standing like 20 feet away from them, just drilling. And like baseball players are wild. Luckily, one of my friends still plays, and I get to see what even at like the high level they are.
Yeah,
and baseball
yeah.
players are just crazy all over.
Dude. They are. You know what's funny? Because that is surprising. If you told me that hockey players are crazy, I believe it. Basketball players crazy, believe it. Baseball players feel like they're not crazy. They have this perception of being like the most put together. It feels like to me.
Because I think it is a huge mental game because it is so hard. You have like split seconds to make decisions, but you also have so much time. There's no other sport
kill, dude.
and you have time with each other. So like you develop this weird bond with your team, and it's all like, I will be honest, the 1 year of college I had was the most fun I ever had. Like just getting stoned with my teammates and going to like half price apps at Applebee's, and
yeah, dude.
Like I remember
that was one of the best books I read was The Bad Guys Won, talking about
the New York Mets book.
Yeah. Let's go Mets, baby. What was I cut you off though? What you're gonna say?
Oh, it was just one of my worst memories was going to an Applebee's stoned. We had a junior who was hung out with all the freshmen because he transferred in from a Division I program, and it was at that point known I was the number one reliever. I didn't make the starting rotation as a freshman, but I was told I was the first one coming out of the bullpen. That was my job, was the long relief guy. And he said that day at the Applebee's, he looked at me and he said, first one out of the bullpen, first one under the knife.
Oh.
And then it was maybe a few weeks later where I blew out the arm, and then 3 weeks later was under the knife.
Wow.
Full reconstructive surgery, like literally 100% off the bone.
Oh, God.
He apologized for that. He's like, I didn't know it was going to happen. Like, obviously, I know you didn't do it, but it is still crazy that you said that and then it came to fruition.
Wow.
But I got hazed before the game, and I fully believe that's what happened. They threw a line drive at me when I wasn't looking, and it hit me square in the elbow. And then I had a pitch with the swollen elbow, so I'm guessing maybe the swollenness of the elbow.
That
Corey
sucks,
McGinnis,
dude.
fuck you, motherfucker. I'll never forget your name. He is very fat now. He is so fat. He's like as fat as I was when I was fat. So,
Dude, what were you at your fattest?
354 pounds.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, and I have
What are
no.
you now? Dude, you're looking lean and mean.
I was down to 164, but I started eating meat again post breakup. I point to the egg tattoo.
Were you vegetarian?
I was vegetarian for 2.5 years.
Oh, dude, that's so bad.
I know, and
That's
then
so unhealthy.
you know, a beautiful blonde woman looked at me one time, and I was like, "I'll kill the chicken myself." That's all it took. That my morals, my love for chickens was as strong as that.
I do love chicken, man.
Because she works in like fine dining, so like I can't turn down the meals that are being presented, and also you don't want to be a vegetarian for someone who's attractive.
dude.
It's an unattractive quality.
Vegetarians, dude. There's it was 11 Madison Park. It's like the best restaurant in the world. One of them.
Vegetarian.
They're
vegan.
vegetarian. I'm like, how? If you're paying that much money, I need I'm sure it's delicious.
They very famously have a back room though for their real diners.
Do they really?
Yeah, you could still get like a back room and get a meat dish.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do like
it's like
that.
the secret meat room.
Yeah, man. If you're paying that
My uncle
much,
had
I
that
need some
room.
like oysters. I need some like fish or meat or whatever, dude.
I've never been in that world of like what rich people. My palate has always been the autistic palate. So when I find something I like, I stick with it. And now I'm like experimenting with like tuna tartare, and I'm like, what is happening in my mouth? But also, it's like I was eating plants. Or what I'm trying to get at is the girl that I'm dating has a very weak plumbing system in her apartment, and she made me start eating meat again. So it's been so hard to not take massive meat shits in her apartment. You know, I've had to time my shits out around Brooklyn. You know how panicked I've been the last 5 weeks of my life just having to find places to shit around the city?
Dude, there is nowhere to shit in this city at all.
No, public parks close their bathrooms now for some reason. This was the one
Dude,
good thing.
I could never take a number 2 in a public park. Washington Square Park.
Number 2?
I can barely use the urinal there. And you have to be watching over your back because there's always a homeless guy who's just standing in the corner menacing. You're like, he's just waiting for weakness.
It's worse than the menace while you're pissing.
Oh, yeah, because then you're getting the nervous stream. You're like breaking stream. And that's like the only one I've ever been in. Maybe Union Square. I went in that one too.
I got a list of Starbucks that with the codes that market Delancey and Essex.
Yeah, you rave about that.
That's a clean one. I got the code for it. That's what you do. I just keep them in my phone. I have bathroom codes. I literally have a running list of bathroom codes in my phone where it says the location it's in, the neighborhood, and the code.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
I'm not searching out parks to shit in. It's just if that's what stumbles upon. But yeah, those are scary bathrooms because
Dude,
it
I
feels
just
like a
couldn't
video
do it.
game. Like you have to defeat characters to get to the toilet.
And then the condition of the toilet is horrendous.
Absolutely. I'm like, I just beat 2 bosses and there's shit on the seat for this.
Oh.
Yeah, I got to wash my hands after cleaning the seat and after taking a shit.
But like as a runner, like at those long distances, like you have to go to the bathroom during the race. So like,
have you done that?
yeah,
Just like
I've shit in the middle of the woods, and I've learned my mistakes. You learn mistakes. The only way to learn from a mistake is to make one, and I've done that once with using leaves to wipe my butt.
Stop.
Which
dude.
I did not know tear up your asshole like a motherfucker. If it's
Dry
the
or
wrong leaf.
fresh?
They felt fresh, but it turns out there's only like 2 leaves you could actually use.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, and I just went to town with these leaves, and then like, I don't want to be so that night.
No, please.
That night, I'm on my family's driving me home from the race. I hobble into a rest stop because in this race it was a 55-miler called the Batona Trail Race.
Brutal.
I stress fractured the tops of both my feet because I didn't bring extra shoes, so your feet swell, and I fucked up, so like both my feet stress fractured. So I'm in bad shape. Then I sit down in this bathroom finally, and then I stand up, and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I ruptured some. I'm like just blood all over. I was like, this race killed me. And then I texted my friend who's an ultra runner. I was like, what's going on? What could this be? And his first response back was, did you wipe your ass with leaves? And I was like, yeah, why? He's like, it rips you. It's like sandpaper, dude. He's like, you don't even feel it because the adrenaline's going, so you don't actually feel what it's doing.
Wow, dude.
But yeah, now what I've learned, you bring biodegradable wipes, you dig a little hole, you squat down, shit, biodegradable wipe in the hole, cover it up, keep running.
Oh my God. See, that's tough for me because I like to relax on the toilet. I like to play, game of chess on my phone. I like to look at Instagram. So I would be immediately ready to do that. And I would be like, forget that I'm in a race, I think.
Yeah, like you're like, you don't get that. I like to lean the elbows on the knees, get the
exactly.
little marking down here. I got the little bruise on the legs when I get up.
Put my hands underneath my chin and daydream.
Shit. Yeah, but going through a bathroom in ultra running is the worst things, especially when it's like these freezing cold races.
Oh, dude.
And like I keep this handheld water bottle because like I don't like to hold water bottles, so they make these ones that strap against your wrist. I remember one training run going into the porta potty. It was like 18 degrees, probably less. It was freezing, and I go to pull down my pants to piss, and while I'm pulling down the pants, I just squeeze the water bottle right onto my balls, and I had nothing to really damp it off with. So like I just had to freeze my nuts off the whole run, and I'm just like, this is what Goggins would do.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's been, chaotic.
Well, you like it, though. I mean, I can't imagine doing that.
I love
shit.
it. It's beating the shit out of my body right now. My hamstring is in pieces. I could play the side of my hamstring right now like a guitar. Like, I could actually feel it and kick it. So I'm trying to let it settle.
Wait, is that not normal? I can fucking feel that, too.
Everything I have, this guy has.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna name the episode, the episode we found out Dylan has autism.
No, like, I think my hamstrings are so tight, dude. But like I thought that was like a ligament in my hamstring. Who knows? Who knows, dude?
I digress.
Maybe I'm autistic. Who knows?
I doubt it, but
turns out he just has a torn hamstring.
Yeah.
Dude, I also appreciate, I can tell you've done podcasts before because the way you put the cup down, everybody fucking that we have on just like, and I'm like,
it down.
Come on, dude. You put it down so gently.
It's a light put down.
I noticed it earlier.
I'm also, I don't usually drink on pod, but this made me nice. I feel nice and warm now. It's a bad thing. Well, this is the episode. He's autistic and I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, your shake has gone away, so it's official.
That's the worst.
A double shot of whiskey does the body good.
That's the worst when people are like, are you doing okay, man? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And then this has happened so many times. I pick up the menu at the stand, be like what I want, and then it's just like flapping. I'm like, what the? I'm like, it's got to be a dehydrated thing because I'm training and running, I drink a gallon a day, and I'm currently off running because of my hamstring. I have to take a few weeks off, and I'm not drinking that much water. So I'm thinking my body. I'm just trying to justify. It's not the 12 drinks a day. It's the not mixing in the water. Yeah. It's also not 12, guys. It's just a nice wholesome number.
You don't have to justify it to these animals.
No.
Yeah, these guys are going to be in the comments. Usually when someone says like a dosage, they'll be like, dude, that's nothing. I do 12 shots before I get out of bed.
Dude,
you have a severe problem, buddy.
I love that when people don't realize what they're like. When I told someone, I'm like, dude, I was like, I've been drinking a lot lately. And my buddy went, yeah, but are you drinking in the shower yet? I'm like, I think there's a barometer between the two. Like there is still problematic behavior before it gets to just drinking in the shower.
Dude, I will tell you, a shower beer, that used to be a thing in college. If you had a shower beer, I never had a bad night after a shower beer. I didn't do it all the time, but when you're getting ready to go out and you have a beer in the shower while you're getting ready to go, that was always a good night.
I believe that's in the
Bible. It was like a weird, it was like it always worked out. It was always a legendary fun night. And it was that one. I got to have a shower drink soon. I'm going to start drinking.
Should be the podcast. You guys just record in the shower drinking.
Yeah. Kerrigan, you ready?
Yeah, I don't drink. I just drink kombuchas.
Yeah. They make alcoholic kombucha now.
Yeah, I know. I've had one. But
accidentally?
I don't. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not like that type of guy where I'm going to like, I don't really like alcohol when I drink, but I drink a lot, so it's not really a problem.
Accidentally, yeah.
Can you imagine that? Just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, fuck, I saw Kerrigan a couple weeks ago. What happened to him? Oh, he accidentally had an alcoholic kombucha.
Dude, you couldn't get drunk off those because first of all, you'd have to drink so many of them and they're so filling. Like that would be like a competition. If you could, you'd have to be like what's that guy's name? Kobayashi of kombucha to get to the level you're drunk. But there are some strong ones now too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You'd also be so healthy. The amount of probiotics in there. You'd be drunk, but also like you would just be pumped full of like penicillin. You couldn't get sick for months.
Yeah, and for the listeners at home, this has no alcohol whatsoever.
Thanks for
And only 3 grams of sugar,
clarifying, dude.
which is good.
You're like, there's no alcohol. He's like, I've been drinking for weeks. I'm like, did I accidentally come onto the Sober Otters podcast? Here I am. It's not even, I don't even know what time we sat down at 2. It's okay to have a drink at 2.
Yeah, dude. It
We're
was
comics.
The 2 o'clock pod, man. Yeah. That's the thing. You know what? No one respects. If you just take a break from drinking, no one respects it. But someone who's like, I'm sober now, they're like, people are like, oh, yes, absolutely.
People actually, depends on your crew. They don't respect it. The guys I've rolled with had a bet of when I was going to start drinking, and one guy tried to hedge his bet. We're at a strip club that he wanted to go to. It wasn't my idea, but so I had O'Doul's. Like, I just quit drinking, so I would drink an O'Doul's in that scenario. And dude, he switch-a-marooed them.
Really?
To hedge his bet, so that because I did drink it, because like he'd switched it, bang, goes back, and he was like, I got him, but it didn't work. But that's the type of crew I was with. They're actively rooting against you, and all your friends are too, by the way.
Oh yeah, Michael, what are you like at a strip club?
Usually not wanting to be there, kind of. Like, I don't enjoy it that much, and you got to be friendly. Not that I don't go anymore, but you got to be friendly because like the girls are working there. You don't want to be like the guy like, meh.
That's me. I've never.
You don't like a strip club?
I've never earnestly gone to a strip club.
Really?
I've been to a strip club 2 times in my life. Once for a stand-up show, once for a podcast taping.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never been to see the women.
Really?
Never.
I mean, they're good looking. You know what I mean? That's not
I
the
have
problem.
no interest.
It's always a fun time.
See, to me, that's never been loud music. One throws me off because I'm like, I love tits. I hate loud music. Why am I going to combine my greatest foes and my greatest love?
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to let them battle it out.
Because the louder the music gets, I don't see anything. I turn off and kind of my shoulders go high and I go like, anytime like I get weird, I go like that. So I just sit there like this and I'm like, now I just look like the weird guy who doesn't like tits. And I'm like, no, you're beautiful, miss. It's just this fucking, I can't hear poison anymore.
Yeah, they do love the old school like rat, like round and
Yeah,
round.
here I go again on my own, and it's like we get it. Here you go again.
You're a single mom.
I feel like your happy medium would be Hooters. That's no loud music, wings that everybody likes. There you go.
Hooters is strip clubs for autistic people.
Yeah, dude. If they changed that to their slogan, I mean,
dude, Hooters is
roof.
it's training wheel strip. It's for the father who couldn't convince his wife to like bring the fam to the strip club. He's like, we're getting them used to it with wings. Although I had a buddy who used to go to Legs and Eggs at strip clubs, and I didn't even know if it was for the women or the food. He used to like rave about the food. He's like, dude, the buffet's
What is Legs and Eggs?
It's breakfast buffet at the strip club. Couldn't be, to me, more disgusting. Yes. I hate buffets, and if I'm going to a buffet, I don't want it at the strip club. I hate buffet food.
Dude, that's like the second time in like 3 weeks
Benedict
that you brought that
with
up.
pussy in my
buffets?
face.
Yeah.
Because I hate buffet food. It's disgusting. And cafeteria
Eggs
food.
Benedict.
That was my rock bottom, was eating alone at a Golden Corral.
Holy moly. That is
in New Jersey.
Bad.
Route 9, New Jersey. I believe it's around Howell, if I had to give out the exact one. Howell on Route 9, or it's technically Freehold.
Yeah.
I ate at the Golden Corral alone, enough to where the employees were kind of like, are you good? Like, you're too young for this. There's a lot of old, fat men there in trucker hats eating alone, but like, I was a kid. I was 23 when I was that fat.
Oh, God.
Like, Golden Corral is really the type of place where you meet one person who works there, and they're like, you shouldn't eat here. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know I shouldn't, but where else could I get all of this?
Oh, dude. Dude,
Yeah,
I love
buffets were big for me in Golden Corral land, and then that was kind of like an eye opening. There's a lot of rock bottoms, but that was like a lot need to line up before you make a decision.
Yeah,
that was one of them. That was definitely a big one that I could go back to and be like, Golden Corral.
Dude, I love a buffet. All you can eat sushi. There used to be a place by my parents' house. Real good. You go for lunch. $35.
That's a classic example of America bastardizing Japanese culture. They're like, there could be nothing less about sushi than all you can eat. Sushi was like, because we had another guest on, they were telling us, like, sushi is in Japan, it's a very small portion. It's, it's not stuffed with all this rice. America, we're like, all you can eat, we'll funnel it right down your fat face.
Tempura.
Till you puke.
All different sauces. Yeah.
That great old Greg Giraldo bit where he's like, in America, we have a dessert called death by chocolate.
Yeah.
He's like, do you think I forgot what country said, do you think they have death by emergency aid relief bag of rice?
Dude, the only thing less sushi than a buffet is mayonnaise on a sushi roll.
I've never heard of that.
Any kind of mayonnaise, like an aioli sauce, like I'm like,
I've never heard of it, but I don't eat sushi.
yeah, it's like mayonnaise, dude.
I love the
It is
word
mayonnaise.
aioli because it reminds me of areola.
it also lets you pretend that you're not actually just eating mayonnaise.
Yeah, they tried to class up mayo.
It's just mayo with like olive. Like
yeah, that's like when
ketchup in
Sleepy's
it.
rebranded as Mattress Firm. Remember
Is
that?
that the same company?
Absolutely.
I did not
Get
know
outta
that.
here.
Just one day they were like, we're Mattress Firm, which is wild when you've been Sleepy's to everyone.
Dude.
I'm going to do that because they
Just
sell the
rebrand?
same thing. I'm going to do the same exact act. I'm just going to be like, hey guys, for some reason my fake name was Phil Necro, which is an old knuckleball pitcher in the major leagues. I don't know why I went to such a specific old baseball player.
I'm not gonna lie. All comics are so like mentally unstable that if you just showed up and you were like, "Hey Dan, what's up?" and you're like, "Actually, it's Phil Necro now," nobody would bat an eyelid. Everyone would be like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, did you see Phil? Yeah, it used to be Dan. He changed his name." And no one would address it.
He does jokes about knuckleballs now. Dan's lost it.
To your face, and then behind your back, everyone would be like, "Dude,
That's what I've learned.
Lamorte just changed his name to Phil Necro."
Comics will be the nicest they could
Yeah.
be to your face. And then later that day, they'll be like, did you hear what so-and-so said about you? And I'll be like, that's what they said? I'd be like, they literally told me they loved me 20 minutes ago. What the?
It's true.
It's
dude.
wild. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like changing your name, whenever I see it on Facebook or Insta or whatever, it's basically it's bankruptcy for your life. Like you'll see certain. It tends to be women more often, but like when they keep changing, I'm like, gosh, she went bankrupt again. Another break. Like
that's his bankruptcy for your life
Yeah.
is a name change.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be the name of the episode.
not when you change it from like, an abbreviation, when it's a full new name, like it's just like, I'm like, all right, what happened? Let's hear the backstory. If you
Lifestyle
change your name, you should
bankruptcy.
have to put the backstory behind it. All right, this is what happened.
I'd never do a name change, but I can see a time where there will be comics who will come up to me and be like, did you hear about Dan Lamorte? He's a sadhu walking the mountains of India now. When I run out of everything and I'm like, dude, comedy's really over for me when I've alienated all people,
Yeah.
I'm just going to do something like that.
Just climb. Dude,
I'm never not going to do something crazy.
I could see you climbing Everest.
Absolutely.
I could see you doing it.
I think I'll die doing something like that. I hope. I can only hope I go out cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Who's that guy who he used to have like I forget his name. He's a real like men's rights guy, and he just died. He used to have like podcasts where he would like just
Jordan Peterson died?
No.
That was a bit.
Yeah.
Nothing
Dude,
wrong with
he
pepper and bits
died.
in.
It was this black dude. Yeah, it was
He had a
sometimes
real
we
weird
forget.
name, right?
You know who would know it?
Like
Gully.
Bufudo
Gully.
or something?
No.
So wrong to really black guy and then say, what's his name? Buffito.
No, that's just something going on with a guy with a name like that recently. And he's a men's rights activist, which I'm all
No,
about.
it's not like a
Oh,
men's
yeah,
rights
the
guy.
dude who,
You know what
who
I'm talking
judged
about?
the women. Like, they would come on a show and he'd rip them apart.
That guy.
Did he die?
He died.
He died. You know
Oh,
how he
no.
died? He had a heart attack having sex with someone.
Yeah, he was very intense about like
He called himself. He would be like, "I'm a high value man. Or are you a high value woman?" And he used to like hold like people accountable. People.
Didn't
would
it
come
turn
on
out
the
he was
show.
in debt too when he died? Like, they found out he was in debt?
I don't remember. I don't know. I just saw that, because one of our buddies is a big fan of this thing. 'Cause he would bring people on, and people would be like, I need a man who's over 6'2", who makes over $200,000 a year, who has an education, who blah blah blah, and rattle off all these criteria. And he would be like, okay, well that person is the top 1% of the population. What do you bring to the table? And they would be like, okay, what's your degree? And be like, well, I never graduated college. I never went to college. I dropped out of high school. Okay, well, do you have any kids? Yeah, I have 3 kids. Okay, and how old are you? Oh, you're 33. Okay, and what's your job? Well, I need someone to support. And he would be like, okay, well, this 1% person, what makes you think that he's gonna pick you? He's gonna pick someone else in the top 1% of criteria.
And not a single time did any of the women just look at him and be like, have you seen my pussy? Not a single time. And I never respected that because some of them might have had that.
should've.
That defeats all of them. Some people have magic.
Yeah, but he died having sex with a woman. He had a heart attack.
yeah, I just got into him like a couple months ago. I was watching a lot of his videos. He was great. I didn't agree with him on all stuff, but I like
Pour
a lot
one
of it.
out for a legend.
Yeah.
Listen, you cannot agree. You can agree or not agree with people, but you cannot deny that some people are just purely entertaining.
Oh yeah.
with the
Also,
things they
if he
say.
actually was in debt, that makes it so much funnier that he's like this guy telling women what they can and can't, and he's just in. That's so funny. to me.
It depends on who he's in debt to. For me, like the government, I don't care because they're just gonna use that for a new war. It's like you just saved some kid in a third world country from getting bombed. But if it's to like, I don't know. I guess I really don't care who he owes, as long as it's not me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just thought of him like, I don't care if he owes colleges, the government, the banks. I don't like any of these groups.
All right, how you feeling, dude?
Great.
Yeah, we usually do about an hour, or out of like an hour 15 right now. So,
Oh, wow, okay.
unless you got anything else,
Take one last sip.
And you got to
otherwise
do
we
any
could-
plugs. You got shows where people can see you, where they can find you.
Look at that, dude! You just finished that thing.
Yeah, that was a
that was
double.
perfectly timed. Yeah,
Dude, it's the rule of 40%. You think this kid's gonna fail on that?
I'm not gonna lie. I might switch. I usually drink Jim Beam on the rocks.
Oh, Jim
I
Beam
might
stinks.
switch to Makers.
Makers is the best.
I mean,
It's
I
my
usually go
drink.
for Woodford if I'm going like nice and fancy.
That's nice, yeah.
But that was really smooth.
It's kind of sweeter, which is what I like.
That was dangerous. How not bad at tasting on the rocks. I'm new to on the rocks.
Yeah, that's
So-
what Makers I started with. So,
So the last 3 weeks, if we really want to talk about it, has been 3 tattoos, switching to liquor on the rocks. I drink coffee now. I never really drank coffee, and I'm already on black iced coffee.
dude,
Are you doing cold brew?
No, not cold brew
Dude,
yet.
cold
Just-
brew, that's where I draw too much for me.
That would probably be too much for me. Like I already drink a couple black coffees a day, and I'm like, that's already like a huge my resting heart rate used to be like 48.
That's great.
When I was running. Now when I have my watch on, my resting heart rate's in the 70s. I'm like, what have I done in the last few weeks?
Yeah, dude, that's what mine is. You know what it is? I'm drinking I stopped drinking caffeine a little while ago, like a couple weeks ago, because I realized I love coffee. I would drink a pot of coffee a day, and I was drinking a pot of coffee a day. I was smoking like those Miley vapes all day.
Yeah.
And then I was having like panic attacks at the gym, and I'm
You're
like,
like, what's happening? Yeah.
like, what's happening?
My anxiety's
dude?
bad today. I don't know why.
I would like do a set, and I'm like, why does it feel like my skin's crawling?
It used to happen to me in high school. I would get a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts across the street. I'd be drinking my coffee in history class, and I'd start getting real nervous, and I'd always forget that I was high every day. I'm like, this coffee's making me so paranoid right now. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you took 6 bong hits before you walked in the door. But, like, the coffee was the thing putting me over the edge.
Oh,
that's
so
the best.
funny, dude. All right, you feeling good?
I feel good.
Hell
I
yeah,
can't wait
dude.
to be next time I'll come back, this whole arm will be done.
Dude, I can't wait to see you next. You're gonna have at least 3 more tattoos.
One just right on
I'm
the
gonna
face.
see you a week
Oh,
and a half.
yeah, once
from
I see
now.
the face tattoo, that's when you know it's hitting.
If I ever get one on the face this soon, I put the disclaimer in this soon. I'm like, that's when it's an issue.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be a
he's
problem.
thinking about it as if he's...
Just putting the state of New Jersey right under his eye.
If I ever get a state or an area code tattooed on me, that's when it's over. That means I'm really in a bad place if it says 732 on my knuckles. Where are you from? You ever heard of it? Monmouth County, New Jersey?
Oh, boy.
Oh, baby. Well, dude, thank you for coming. Tell them where they can find you. Plug anything you have coming up. This is coming out in a few weeks. It'll be
Guys.
out at I think the end of July.
At
but
this rate, see me at your local bar or mental institution. If not, at Dan Lamorte on social media. July 24th, doing an hour at the Stand, long set.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Called Dan Lamorte, a completely different person. Which is funny. That was named after a joke about losing the weight from years ago. And then I named the hour that, and everyone's like, you're such a dick, man. I'm like, this was already named this before.
I think that's fine, dude.
And it's still very into the situation. It applies.
People change every 6 months to a
I'm
year.
breaking
pretty
out of
much.
my shell, guys.
Absolutely.
He just tapped. If you're listening on audio, he just tapped the egg
eggshell.
crack tattoo that he has on his
Yeah,
wrist.
that's one of the meanings you give to people. So you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. That's a
Nice,
new one.
yeah.
That's not. I got it because I liked the way it looked.
It does look cool.
Yeah, but that's it. You could see me there. Dan
All right,
Lamorte.
yeah, Dan Lamorte, Instagram. Michael?
Mike T. Kerrigan on Instagram.
Dylan Krasinski on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. Sea Otter Town Hall is out every Wednesday. We post the clips pretty much every day now. But yeah, give them a listen, rate, review, subscribe. You guys know what it is. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for Dan for being here. Go give him a follow, baby. And we will see you next week. Good night.
All right.